let's go ahead. Let's get into the news. All right. So I feel like I'm repeating myself. This is the second time I've actually shot this, believe it or not. So at any rate, good news is this. Look, book sales are up, folks. And if you are in this business and you just started, let's say in the last couple of years, and you got yourself a nice backlog of books, you should have seen an increase in your sales. If you didn't, you might be doing something kind of wrong, because after all, during the whole lockdown, a lot of people were purchasing more titles and getting more books and checking them out of the library. People were wanting to read, and they continue to read as well. In fact, this article at weforum.org discusses how the book sales are up and what we're looking at and what we can kind of expect. They said sales of fiction books in the UK in 2020 grew by 16%, despite bookshops being closed. That's pretty awesome that authors are still being able to thrive in this environment. So many people rediscovered a love of reading, according to the head of the UK Publishers Association. Sales of consumer titles in the US for the first 2 months of 2020 are also up. So this right here means, quite a bit, in that we are going to be seeing like this, the resurgence of people just wanting to read, any types of books. And we're going to kind of get into some niches here in just a second here. But if you're finding that you're kind of in a downswing right now, that you're not profiting as much as you think you should be, this is about the time that you need to take a step back, be a bit more self-aware, look at your cover, look at your book description, take a look at your ad copy, and make sure that's all tight, because right now more than ever, you should be seeing a big uptick in the amount of content being read of yours. So if you happen to have just one book, please, don't beat yourself up if that's the only book that you have. So let's switch on over here back to the screen share. And this other article pretty much just corroborates everything else that I was just discussing. Self-publishing may be the answer to shakeups in the book world amid COVID-19. And they said a large publishing takeover has many in the book industry concerned about the potential lack of content diversity in the future. In the fall, Penguin Random House announced it would be taking over Simon & Schuster. Pretty much, let me summarize some of this article. They're essentially kind of saying like, hey, traditional publishing is great, but did you know that self-publishing is like a thing? In fact, they even point over to like the poster child of self-publishing, E.L. James, and she did 50 Shades of Grey. That was self-published for the first year when someone came through and bought the rights, which, by the way, that's one thing I just kind of want to point out. You hear often, I don't know where people have gotten this little myth that if you self-publish a book that you won't get signed to a traditional publishing company. Now, there might be some trad pub companies out there that do kind of poo-poo on your content being out there if they're going to come pick you up. But that's few and far between, because the thing that companies are looking for is proof of concept. So chances are very likely if you take a chance on yourself and you publish your work and it doesn't pan out well, of course, the trad pub company is going to look over there and go, if they weren't able to do anything with this on their own, what exactly are we going to be able to cover over here? So you need to kind of get really dialed in on that. So good article here. It kind of talks a little bit more about some of the actual sales, and I'm not going to give you any of the numbers because it'll be like arbitrary off the top of my head, but all that to say this, that across the globe, readership has increased. All right, let's move over to the next piece. What are the most lucrative ebooks to self-publish? This is over on Good eReader. Highly recommend you take a look at this blog. Always very insightful. So let's just get right to it. We want to know, what are the niches to go ahead and get into? And they're saying like pretty much like what's going to be profitable, what is selling. And I've kind of trumpeted this since the start of this channel. Romance is huge. It's big. Mystery and thriller, fantasy and science fiction, and here's a good one, young adult. Now, they give you, some additional ones, including biographies and memoirs. Now, here's where I'm going to kind of just push back just a little bit on this little piece here, and this is my opinion here, folks. When it comes to biographies and memoirs, if you're not a celebrity, you have a steep uphill battle to get this book to get any type of traction, because not a lot of people are really going, you know what? I'm going to go get this person's autobiography that I've never heard of. And yeah, that's the problem is people are looking for biographies and memoirs of celebrities, people that are well known. So if you do get into doing something like that, just know that that marketing and promotion, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. You're going to need to be possibly someone who has a certain energy about you. You're willing to go out and do interviews and people find you infectious. And chances are very likely if you can rope them in visually, then chances are very likely they're going to probably want to invest in your biography and memoir. So I wanted to kind of push back a little bit on that. Again, that's more opinion than anything. All right, self-help is going to be the next one. The market was valued in 2019 at $38 billion and expected to grow 5.1% by 2027. And self-help books include motivational and inspirational books that encourage the reader to slow down and focus on mindfulness or letting go of self-sabotaging behaviors. Healthy living books, like the How to Lose Weight, How to Stop Eating Sugar, How to Keto, all that kind of stuff. Self-help books that encourage creativity. Creativity is starting to come to the forefront, and there's a lot of people that would kind of think to themselves, creativity, like who really needs help with creativity? But believe it or not, there are a lot of people that are very hamstrung. And it's very clear that getting self-help books based on creativity is really big. There's a book on my shelf here. Creativity consultant and world famous magician, Adam Wilber. Adam's a good buddy of mine. He actually put out this book. It's specifically called Creativity. And it's a fantastic book. And I'll tell you, it really greases your creative wheels. Alrighty, and journaling's the next one. Developing new skills is another one. Now, nonfiction, it says, generally speaking, is a broad category that encompasses everything from academic texts to travel guides and how-to manuals. And then last but not least is children's ebooks. So these were kind of really broad recommendations. I don't think there's anything earth-shattering about that. I would wholeheartedly agree with the fact that if you're going to do fiction, romance, mystery and thriller, fantasy and science fiction, and young adult, go for those ones. It seems to be doing pretty good these days. All right, we're going to move forward inside the news items here, and then afterwards I'm going to chat here with the live viewers. Okay, come on back over here. All right. Big news from Findaway Voices. In fact, I got 2 news pieces on Findaway Voices. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to my boy and head of Findaway Voices, Will Dagus. Will, you're the best. I appreciate everything that you continue to do. I gush over Findaway Voices quite a bit, and especially with all this Audible Gate stuff that started kind of coming to the surface back in October. And Findaway Voices was just like, hey, you got to come over here and check it out. So guess what they did? They really want to incentivize you. They are giving a 50% series royalty bonus for anybody that moves from exclusive to non-exclusive on ICX to distribute through Findaway Voices. It says, we love series authors. Upload your previously exclusive series titles before June 30th to take advantage of a 50% royalty bonus. Now, to my recollection, let me go ahead and summarize this here for you. It is going to be a 50% bonus on your best performing month. So it's not necessarily, it's at first it was a little confusing to me, and I was like, oh, what do I mean? And excuse me. In fact, this is what they say specifically. Celebrate National Audiobook Month with a 50% royalty bonus on your best performing month. Your audiobook series deserves the freedom to be heard around the world. Sign up or log in, upload and publish your titles, and fill out this form after they're published. Then do some serious marketing, because in December, we'll double your royalties for your highest earning month and send you a check for a happy new year. That's stellar. That's really good. I mean, let's just sit here and do the math of it. I mean, a 50% royalty bonus on your best performing month. Let's say that you're just pulling in $1,000. I mean, that's an extra $500. Like, Findaway Voices really wants to see you win. I'll tell you, they are just constantly trying to improve what they've been doing, and they've only been in the business for doing downloadable audiobooks since 2015. So it's crazy to see the massive growth they've had. They got up to about 43 different distribution avenues for audiobooks, but more recently, I think they had to kind of trim the fat. There was a couple companies that just weren't, either one went out of business and the other one just wasn't the right structure, but they're back down to 41. But that's pretty awesome, especially if you consider the distribution that ACX has, and it's only to 3 different avenues. And sure, they hold, I would say, I can't remember, it's 60% of all audiobook sales online. It could be even more than that. It might be like 80 or 90%. Ally's got something like that on their website stating how much it is. But, the thing is, you are limited. There's no library reach. You have way less options beyond Amazon and Audible and Apple. To be honest with you, through ACX, if you go exclusive, they're only going to give you 25% of each sale made through Apple, and then you collect 40% if you're exclusive. Now, if you're going through Findaway Voices and distributing to Apple, here's the nice thing. That's 45%, and you get an 80% royalty of that. So it's very clear. Apple likes working with Findaway Voices more than ACX because they're obviously not changing that percentage over on ACX. Call me crazy, probably some type of conflict of interest, if you will, having just the both of them working together, because one wants to get the distribution. The other one's just pretty much like, oh, you want distribution? Sure. You like peanuts? Here you go. Have some. They're just throwing pennies at people. So, there we go. And so with that being said, as I'm kind of gushing over things, it's no surprise that Findaway Voices was shortlisted for a prestigious international award. It says US-based Findaway Voices shortlisted in the London Book Fair International Excellence Awards in 2021. So that is absolutely cool. This to me just means the world, because obviously being able to know some of the people over in Findaway Voices and get to meet them and spend an entire day with them was really awesome. And so I'm glad to see some of their hard work is paying off. So if you've got something exclusive to ACX and it's not drawing the money that you would like it to do, or that it's not getting enough audiobook copies out there, might I recommend go non-exclusive, move it over to Findaway Voices. And in the event you say, dude, Findaway Voices ain't doing it for me, that's okay. Just delist it and go put it back to exclusive or an ACX. But I'm telling you, as soon as you go over to Findaway Voices and give it a shot, you will be shocked. And by the way, I'm not being paid to say this. I'm not sending you over to a link that I'm going to be able to profit anything from. I'm speaking from the heart on this one here. Findaway Voices, stellar. Big round of applause to the because of the London Book Fair International Excellence Award. So that's really, really cool. Big congratulations. All right. Hey, that's the news, folks.